being from Belfast, we know a thing or two about things sinking. But have you heard about sinking funds? Well, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what a sinking fund was until last year. I'd never heard of it before, and I talk about money every single day. The shame. But like anything in life, we don't know what we don't know. And every day is an opportunity to learn something new. So if sinking funds are an unknown to you, don't stress. This video will tell you everything you need to know and just a little bit more. Sinking funds are planned savings pots that are used to pay for upcoming purchases. Really simple. And while there is no strict saving schedule in a sinking fund, you might wish to contribute to them regularly. The savings are earmarked for specific events, activities, or purchases. Say, for example, you are due to get married in 4 years. Congratulations, by the way. By setting up a wedding sinking fund, any money you save into that savings account is destined to be spent on your wedding. Many people regularly contribute to their sinking funds with every wage packet. However, there are no set rules and you can add money anytime you have any additional funds to do so. And by saving over an extended period and in advance of the need to use that money, you're more likely to have the funds available in cash to make the purchase or to pay for the event, and therefore the chances of going into debt are so much less. And if you've ever listened to me talk about debt before, generally speaking, we want to avoid that as much as possible. Sinking funds aren't solely for use on huge events or life circumstances. They can be used for almost any planned expense. On the screen now, I'll be sharing some of the sinking funds that I personally save into. Golf fees, car maintenance and other costs like insurance, holidays or other travel costs, gifts, and new home deposit. And I will admit that many of these costs could be covered in a monthly budget without the need for a sinking fund. However, I, and many like me, find that spreading the cost of planned purchases across a year gives me more freedom in my monthly budget. Imagine your boiler broke down or an unexpected car maintenance came round just as you'd paid for your holidays. This could put you into debt unexpectedly, and a sinking fund takes this risk away entirely. While both sinking funds and emergency funds are savings pots essentially, they should be treated and considered very differently. Sinking funds are for planned expenses, whereas emergency funds are for those unplanned expenses we will all inevitably face. These emergencies could include a broken down car, a new fridge, or even a boiler replacement. The important thing is though that these are unexpected expenses, but as we all know, unexpected things happen all the time. Emergency funds stop the need for us to go into debt to pay for the emergency, and this is the most important part of this entire video, because debt is costly. It costs us money right this second, and it continues to cost us over the length of the repayment. Furthermore, debt stops you from building wealth over the long term. Being in and paying off debt is one of the most stressful things that anyone can do. And if you're in debt, definitely check out my debt repayment series that I have on the website. The argument I hear is that debt is normal, and I promise you it's not. It has been normalized, yes, but being in debt is one of the worst financial decisions that anyone can make. It's also important that you keep your emergency fund for true emergencies. This is not, I need new garden gates, or I fancy a holiday fund. Treat this with caution and only use the money in your fund for true emergencies, because I guarantee you they will inevitably happen. One of the most common misconceptions is that a sinking fund and a savings account are the same thing. And it's easy to see why. Because a sinking fund is how you save your money for planned expenses, and a savings account is normally where you put your money. So they could be mixed up very easily. Imagine you're saving for several upcoming expenses all at the one time. This could be your wedding, your honeymoon, and possibly a new car or a house purchase. And you also have a household budget to maintain each month. When you're using your savings account, this generally shows your entire savings balance. The lines get blurred and the balances all get mixed together. And even I, as somebody who talks about money a lot, find this incredibly difficult to manage. Because when the money is all in a singular account, it's easy to mix it all up. Setting up multiple sinking funds correlated to each of your goals, helps you to split your savings account into the appropriate funds. And I find this incredibly easy with the Monzo's savings pots feature. And actually, do you know what? I'm going to share this a little bit with you now because I love them. And this is not sponsored by Monzo. If you are a Monzo customer, this process is incredibly straightforward with their pots feature. With just a few clicks and a couple of lines of typing, you can create a new pot, and this instantly becomes a sinking fund. Done. And what's incredibly handy as well is that with the Monzo salary sorter, you can automatically transfer money into your sinking funds with every new salary received. In my opinion, there is a significant drawback to using the Monzo pots, and I've reached out to Monzo about this as well. Currently, your Monzo pots are part of your regular current account, which does not attract the 4.5% interest rate that Monzo offers in its instant access savings accounts. To get the 4.5% interest from the savings account, you have to lump all of your savings together, and as I mentioned before, this defeats the purpose of the sinking fund strategy altogether. So Monzo, if you do watch this, please take that into consideration. But what I do then to keep a record of this, and you can do this with any number of savings accounts if you wish. Well, I transfer the funds into my pot first, and then I move them individually into the savings account because that keeps a record of the money coming in and out of the accounts, and I have a good idea of where it's going. I will admit, I do also have a spreadsheet with the sinking fund balances, and what that does is they're all mixed together, they're all spread out in the spreadsheet, and then it will still equal the total amount. Creating a sinking fund is not without its challenges. Firstly, you must have enough additional income in your budget to fund these savings pots. It's true. In the current climate, many households are struggling with their budget, and without the headroom to put any savings away into your sinking fund, that might not be possible for you, and I do appreciate that. Sinking funds, much like emergency funds, also require significant discipline to manage. Many people I speak to have trouble not spending their savings, and I understand that. Earning money is hard, and saving money is even harder. Why shouldn't you spend your hard-earned cash? Well, you've set up your sinking fund for very specific reasons, and I promise that almost always these reasons are greater than any impulse purchase. And anyone who is embarking on a financial journey, whether that's saving or investing for their financial goals, should understand the concept of delayed gratification. Look, sinking funds are great, and there's little negative that can happen by saving money. If you haven't set up a sinking fund before, here's how to do it. Number one, decide what you're saving for in this sinking fund. It could be the deposit for your house, or it could be for your annual golf fees. The main thing is that this is a known expense that is going to happen in your future. If you plan and budget for it now, it won't be an issue that costs you more money when it needs to be paid. Number two, choose where you're going to save your sinking fund. If you bank with one of the digital banks such as Monzo or Sterling, there is the ability in each of these to set up savings pots or places. While these pots look like they are separate from the main current account, they are just the money segmented into little pots. Within your chosen account, set up a new savings pot and name it so that it's easily identifiable. Number three, decide how much you're going to save. When you set up your sinking fund in Monzo, you can also set the target amount that you want to save in it. This serves to be a huge motivator for me personally as the balance increases and you get closer to your total savings goal. By setting your target sinking fund balance amount, you can then calculate how much you need to save each month or year to achieve your goal. For example, if you know that you want to save £1,000 for a new car deposit in 12 months from now, you would need to contribute around £83 a month to meet this goal. Number four, set your monthly budget to contribute to your sinking fund. Budgeting is rarely fun and saving money is hard. But unless you plan to contribute to your sinking fund and set your budget to afford this, you might not ever be able to achieve your sinking fund goals. The horrors. Using the previous example, you would need to assign £83 a month to your sinking fund. If you currently meet or exceed your budget each month, you might need to reduce your spending elsewhere to make the headroom in your budget to allow you to save. Setting a budget is the cornerstone of any financial plan. It is forward-looking and it will help you to increase the amount you can save from your income every month. And just like that, we've created an incredibly robust sinking fund plan in just 4 easy steps. But you're probably thinking about all your upcoming expenses and asking yourself, when, Connor, do I stop creating sinking funds? I know this because that's what I did. So how many sinking funds should we set up? Well, the way I look at this is that I can afford anything, but I can't afford everything. And having too many sinking funds might slow us all down in achieving any of them. Simplicity is key to success here. And rather than having a sinking fund for every potential purchase, it's often better to group these. Rather than having a new kitchen fund or a bathroom fund and a garage conversion fund, a simple home fund keeps things simple. And this would allow us to prioritise the spending as we see fit. The other side of that is, though, that our budgets are not infinite, and there is only so much money that we can save towards our sinking funds every month. Prioritising your saving is key, and this does require significant consideration of your financial goals. Like most things in finance, there are no right or wrong answers, only what's right for you. The main thing is, though, that you track your progress and that you see the results yourself. Your goals will almost always change during the time it takes you to save that money, and that's okay. It's your money and you can put it to use as you wish. Saving little and often can become so much greater with a little bit of planning and a lot of discipline. Staying out of debt is one of the core features of building wealth, and sinking funds, if used alongside emergency funds, can completely mitigate this entirely. Class. Remember, it is not normal to go into debt, and the further you can stay away from it, the richer you will eventually become. As always, thank you so much for watching my videos. Please hit that subscribe button, like the channel, all that good stuff, and if you really like what I have to say, please share it with someone else.